Everybody talks about the trades, but nobody shows the numbers. So here's what I actually made last year as an IBEW union electrician. My base rate was $55 an hour. There was 25 to 40 hours of overtime available per week, paid at double time. My healthcare is covered, and retirement contributions are paid into on top of my check. Now let's talk real money. Last year, while working major infrastructure and data center projects, my gross income was over $240,000. My contractor put another $18,000 into my annuity. So if we're being honest, that's over $250,000 in total compensation. That's skilled trades money. So when people say, yeah, but you work with your hands. Yes, and my hands built a six-figure life that can support my beautiful family without having to struggle. Now let's compare that if you were to go to college. 4 years with no income, student loans, and an entry-level salary after graduation. Or you can start an apprenticeship at 18, get paid training, raises every year, no debt, and by 23, you could already be making journeyman wages. That's reality. Is it easy? No. Are there long days? Absolutely. This idea that the trades are a backup plan, that's outdated. The men and women building America are doing perfectly fine. I made $240,000 last year, and all I really have is a high school diploma. I didn't start a tech company, I didn't become a doctor, and I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. I went through a union apprenticeship and became an IBEW journeyman electrician. Yes, last year I made $240,000 and I'm on track to clear $200,000 this year as well. My contractor also contributed over $18,000 into my annuity. I have healthcare, I have a pension, and I get yearly raises that are negotiated through collective bargaining. And most young people have no idea that this opportunity exists. Nobody talked about it in my high school. To the young men and women trying to figure life out, looking for a career, the trades deserve a serious look. Not everybody needs college, and that's no hate towards a higher education. But young people deserve to know all of their options. Because at the end of the day, somebody has to build America, and the trades are a damn good path. And at the rate we're moving now, the next generation of electricians are all gonna retire millionaires. This is a great trade to get into.
I want to come on here and share some info with you guys. I get a ton of questions and DMs about how much union versus non-union you can make. So I'm a union lineman, and this is what we made the first 7 days on this past storm that we were just on. So right here was for the first 6 days we were on storm. We netted 13,800, brought home 11,800. And this was for the 7th day. You can see the same dates up there. We netted 4,100 and brought home 3,500. So here was the total for that first week. We grossed almost 18,000, brought home 15,300, and 30% of that went into our retirement, which is paid by the company. And that was 5,388. Not a single dollar of that came out of our pocket. Not posting that to brag or shit on anybody. I'm just trying to shed some light on how much money you can make in the union versus non-union. So if any of you are trying to decide whether you want to join the union or not, hopefully that helps make your mind up a little bit.
Hey YouTube, it feels like every few days another blue-collar worker posts their paycheck online, and every time the comments are full of people asking if it's real, because the numbers seem way higher than they expected. The more I watch, the more I realize these videos weren't just flexing money, they were showing a side of certain careers that a lot of people, especially students, never really heard about. I think the biggest thing these videos prove is that blue-collar jobs have way more advantages than people give them credit for. And once you actually look into them, it's easy to understand why so many people wish they had considered them sooner.
Yo, if you're wondering how much do blue-collar workers get paid, go no further. This right here is a 1 week paycheck that I made as a professional welder. And I want you guys to understand something. I sat in prison for 6 years, came straight home, got into welding school, and made over $100K my first year. So these earnings are very possible for the ones who want to be reliable, for the ones who want to be very skilled at what they do, for the ones who actually put the work in and get all their certifications, TWIC cards, OSHA 10, Basic Plus, all of these things that are going to put you in position. All of this matters when it comes down to getting this type of money. Do you see what I was making? Double time. Overtime, I was making 106 an hour. Just in 1 day, I was making 1,400 in 1 day. This is very possible.
We're doing 60 plus hours a week, 16 hours a day. With that comes double time, overtime, added benefits into your retirement, union benefits. We stay busy year round. So I own a few houses, a few investment properties, a nice truck. Yeah, I focus on investment properties and earning more money with the money I make here.
Are you a lineman? Is that like your
Yep, journeyman lineman.
If you're interested in making $200,000 per year as a lineman, visit our blog at classette.org, where we break down a number of skilled trades and what it takes to get started.
$95 an hour. An hour, that's what our wages are going to be for union carpenters. Within the next 5 years, we'll be topped out at $95 an hour. That is all to our check. We were supposed to be getting $3 in July, $7 in August. That's $10 this year alone. $15 within the next 5 years for our new contract. I know before everybody starts getting on here, all you people in the comments always saying, oh, well, that's their total package and this and that. No, it's not. That goes directly to our hourly wages. That is what we're getting on our check. 40 hours a week times $95 an hour. That puts you at $3,800 a week. This is why everybody is trying to join the trades, because we are making real money now. Like, it's good to see.
My first oil field paycheck came in, I called HR and told them they gave me too much money. I was convinced there was a mistake that had been made. This was right after I got hired out as a shop hand. So I was a shop hand for the first few months of my career, and then I moved into the field with Danos, and I was a field operator. I was only making like $25 an hour or something like that. And the first payday came around, and $2,000 hit my account. For a week of work, $2,000 hit my account. And I called the HR lady. I said, ma'am, y'all paid me too much. And we went through the numbers, and she was kind of looking at everything, and she said, no, that's what you make. Man, I couldn't believe that shit, dude. I didn't know what to do with that money. I looked at my bank account and thought I was rich. And I think the first two things I bought was 2 spicy McChickens and a large Dr. Pepper from McDonald's. Listen, I'm a simple man, all right? To this day, every time I get a real big check, now my checks are a little bit bigger. Now, if I get like a $6,000 check, $7,000 check, whatever, I'll go get a McChicken, a celebratory McChicken. Yeah, I'll never forget that first one. I'll never forget that first paycheck. I thought I was set for life. You know, I built a career off this, but I thought I was going to be making bank, man. I mean, for a late 18-year-old, you know what I mean? Like, I was like 18 and a half, 18 3/4, whatever. That's good money. You know, like $2,000 a week and you're working half the month. That's damn good money. It changed my life. I was able to travel so much and buy the things I wanted and finally have my own wardrobe and buy a new phone and all these things. And I got a car. It was a really good entry-level job that I had, and I really enjoyed it. But like I said, I'll never forget that first check.
One of the biggest reasons these videos keep blowing up is because they completely destroy the stereotype that blue-collar jobs don't pay well. A lot of people still hear trade job and automatically think their average paycheck, long hours, and just getting by. So when someone casually says they made well over 6 figures, or even shows a year where they made $200,000 or more, it completely changes what people thought was possible. Obviously, not everyone is making that kind of money, and it depends on the trade, experience, certifications, location, and how much overtime someone wants to work. But that's kind of the point. The ceiling is a lot higher than most people realize. I also think a lot of people underestimate how much demand changes everything. When there aren't enough skilled workers doing important jobs, companies have to compete for them. That can mean better wages, more overtime if someone wants it, and more opportunities to move up over time. These aren't jobs where people are hoping work shows up once in a while. A lot of these industries are constantly needing electricians, welders, linemen, plumbers, heavy equipment operators, and plenty of other skilled workers because the work simply doesn't stop. What's interesting is that for a lot of people, the paycheck isn't even the most surprising part. It's realizing they spent years hearing there was only basically one definition of a successful career, only to find out there were other paths that could provide the same level of stability, or sometimes even more. That's why these videos get so much attention. They aren't changing how much these jobs pay, they're changing how people think about them.
If you guys want to see what I made in the oil field in the past 2 weeks, here we go. Before we start, I need to clear some shit up because I'll get hate comments if I don't. Number 1, the hours you see are not hours worked. I am not slaving away out here. I work a very easy job. Yesterday, I did some paperwork, checked some tanks. That was really my entire day. Second, I don't always get these hours. I worked an on-call shift. That is 1 full week. Most of my weeks are 40 to 60 hours, weekends off. This last week, 13 hours minimum. Again, I'm not out of my truck working, slinging a sledgehammer for 13 hours. That is not my job. Now that we have that out of the way, I do this to be transparent. I want to show you guys an honest, transparent view into the field. That way you know what's possible and you can debate whether or not this career may be for you. Next, I am not the highest paid on my team, not even fucking close. I am not even high paid for my position. I'm actually severely under market. I declined offers that would have given me $15 to $18 more an hour. Why would you do that, Cody? I don't know. I'm fucking stupid. I regret it, okay? I thought shit was going to change. It didn't. Let's get into the pay. Here are my hours. Like I said, I worked an on-call shift. These are not hours worked. These are what hours clocked. These are my normal days. You can see them right here. If you take my rate at 80 hours, that is 40 hours per week, $3,200. It's like $1,600 a week, regular time. And if you take the total hours minus the 80 regular time, you find out I worked 64 hours of overtime over the last 2 weeks. Multiply that by our overtime rate and you'll find out I made $3,800. Add the regular time and the overtime together, we're sitting at $7,100. Then I subtract 31%. 24% tax rate, Social Security, Medicare, shit I'll never benefit from probably. Definitely don't benefit from taxes. 6% goes into my 401k, which my company gives me 12%. So I'm at 18% total with my input being 6%, and then I pay 1% in benefits. I will take home just under $5,000. Like I said, I am not high paid for my position. You have lots of people out here making $200,000+ a year. I do not. That was my goal last year. Didn't happen. That was my goal this year. Probably won't happen. But it's very possible once you get some experience and you can get into those positions and you find companies that are willing to pay you that much. Like I said, this isn't like a bragging thing. I like getting on here and being very transparent in everything we do. If I can be transparent about the pay and give you an idea about how your life would look out here or how much potential there is, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to hide anything from you guys. There's no reason for it, to be honest with you. I think everybody should talk about pay, but that's my own personal opinion.
One thing that doesn't get talked about enough is how much of a head start some of these careers can give you. A lot of people automatically picture spending 4 years in college before they can even begin working in the field they actually want. But with many trades, the timeline looks completely different. Some people go to trade school that takes a year or two. Others enter apprenticeships where they're learning directly from experienced workers, and in a lot of cases, they're already getting paid while they're building skills instead of waiting until everything is finished. When you think about it, those years add up fast. While one person is sitting in lectures, studying for exams, and worrying about tuition, someone could already be getting real experience, collecting a paycheck, and improving at the exact job they planned for doing years. By the time both people are in their early 20s, they're in completely different positions financially. And that's something a lot of high schoolers never stop to consider because everyone talks about education, but not always about when your career actually begins. Another thing I noticed from watching these videos is that a lot of these people talk about their jobs. They don't make it sound like some shortcut, you know what I mean? They still have to train, show up every day, earn certifications, and put in work to become valuable. The difference is that their training was directly connected to the career they wanted, instead of spending years completing classes that didn't really have much to do with the work itself. That's a huge reason these careers are becoming more appealing to so many younger people. If your goal is to start building your future as soon as possible, getting into the workforce earlier can be a pretty big advantage. The paycheck is what grabs everyone's attention, but after listening to more people talk about their careers, you realize that's only part of the reason why they're so happy with what they do. A lot of them bring up benefits that don't really sound cool in TikTok clips, you know what I mean? Things like health insurance, retirement plans, paid training, and employers helping workers get more certifications, and they all add value that you didn't really notice if you're just looking at someone's yearly income. Job security is another reason this career stands out. No matter what the economy looks like, people still need electricity, plumbing, roads, construction, repairs, and countless other skilled services. These jobs don't just disappear because trends change online. One thing that comes up over and over is that there simply aren't enough skilled workers entering these fields, which creates even more opportunity for those who do. Knowing your skills are constantly needed gives a lot of people confidence about their future, and that's something money alone can't buy. I also think there's something satisfying about having a skill that people can immediately recognize. When you spend years really getting into a trade, you're not just collecting paychecks, you're building an ability that has a real value wherever you go. Whether someone stays at one company, joins another, or even decides to start their own business someday, those skills will go with them. That's probably why some people who work in these careers talk about them with so much pride. They aren't only proud of what they earn, they're proud of what they know how to do.